Hi. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? All right. You know what? You know what it is? It's time. It's time to break into the next arc. January. I fell asleep in January. Wake me up when February comes. But to start out with, everybody grab your favorite cold beverage. And we're going to pop it. Oh, yeah. Yo, yo, yo. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the show. Oh. Daddy Dave, I opened a Coke Zero. Like, you don't have to. I was just playing. It was a Coke Zero. See? I got proof. I got proof. It's a Coke Zero. I wasn't actually. Of course, what's in the can? Good evening, everybody. What's up? All right. Lights. We got to do the whole thing. All right. Let's see. We got our chat over. Chat's good. Okay. How about overlays? Check. Oh, I forgot to change them for February. Crapola. All right. Let's add in alerts. Engage. Boom. There they are. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the show. We got things to talk about tonight. We're going to break down Beck's video. We're going to do a little bit of STFCing. And we're going to talk about all the things that are coming up this coming month. Everything. I'm going to tell you all of it. Everything that I'm allowed to talk about. Which is everything. Anything. All right. Man, I didn't do any work, did I? Jiminy Christmas. I did like no work. Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you for the level 3 hype train in the chat here tonight. Appreciate you guys here. Let me say thank you to a couple of people who have already popped in and started doing crazy things here, like Spicy Rooster. What's going on, Rooster? Appreciate your 17-month resub. Thank you. Pedro with the 21-month Sparty 4-month resub. Thank you. Papa Smurf kicking us off with a 200 kitty bitty hype train. Jed Zia, 16 months. Thank you. Spectre, 15 months on the 6-month streak. Thank you. The Aardvark guy at 19 months. Odysseus on 14 months. Hero at 13 months. Thank you. Pavik at 22 months. Guru at 12 months. Happy birthday. Paco, Kill First. K92. Thank you very much. K92 says they need to stop making hostels unbeatable. He's taking it personally. You know what's very exciting about that, K9? You know what's very exciting about that? This month, there's another hostile that can indeed kill you, except there's a 30% chance that nothing you do matters. That's right. There's a 30% chance of instant and sudden death. I know you guys love RNG. Green, thank you for the 16 months. Plain Simple Carrick, 22 months on the resub. Long John Q, 20 months on the resub. Thank you. LJ Ram on 13 months. Joe Cole on 7 months. Thank you, Iron Chef, for the 100 kitty bitties. Iron Chef streaming later tonight. We're going to be rating in to him in about 2 hours. Devil Panda, 19 months on the resub. Daverick with the 25 stream streak. Thank you guys so very much. What's going on in the chat? Let's say hello in the chat. Daddy Dave says 30% rounds to 100% in the Scopely world. Maybe. We're going to talk about that. Let's see. What do we got? Joker says, is that supposed to be encouraging? Sounds like something to avoid. No, it could be encouraging. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight as well. Yo, what's up, Lackland? How you doing? Major Samo, how you doing, darling? Welcome into the show. Appreciate it. PhD, thank you for dropping a gifted sub. Savage Darkness, thank you for your 17-month resub. Devil Panda on the 19 months. You guys rock. Thank you. And already into a level 4. We're going to get through all the hype. Then we're going to break down videos, and we're going to do all the things. I gotta fix this stuff. What did I do? All right, let's see if we can fix some of this stuff. What's our goal tonight? Let's see. What do we want the goal to be tonight, chat? Here we go. I'm looking at you, chat. So, this past month, or this past weekend, I actually went to a barber shop and got an actual lather and shave. It's a very cool experience. First time I've ever had that in my life. Anybody else had that before? It was a lot of fun. Candy White, thank you for your 200 kitty bitties. McDougal, thank you for your 20-month resub. Appreciate that very much. Okay. Let's see. How do I, man, it's been a minute since I streamed. Let me fix the things. Here we go. I got it. Activity feed. We're going to go in. We're going to fix the things. Widget data. There we go. I'm finding it. Oh, Engineer, thank you for your 100 kitty bitties. Wire Speed, thank you for the 16-month resub. I appreciate you guys. What's going on? All right, I'm fixing the thingy. I'm fixing it. Just give me a second. I'm going to fix all of it. Boom. Okay. And we're going to put this back right there. And we're going to put that back right there. All right, next time that comes through, next time a bit or a sub comes through, it should reset. I hope. I didn't do any of the things tonight. Whoopsies. We'll see if we can get it to reset here in a minute. What's up, Order to Chaos? How you doing? Welcome into the show. Appreciate you. I'll fix the follow goal thing later. Okay, so we're going to save that. Boom, saved. Looky, got it fixed. Now. You guys are too kind. Thank you. Thank you, Raj, Captain of One. Appreciate you. You are too kind, my good sir. I'm trying to fix the, I was not prepared for tonight, obviously, as you can tell. Let me reset that to February. Good, looking good. I got to come into the activity feed and reset. I feel like this is bad news bears. Okay, maybe not. Did we do it? Save. Whew. I have no idea. I might have just lost like 12 minutes worth of data. So sorry. Yeah, looks like I did. Sorry! If you already did bits, they're lost to the ether. I'll put them back in later. I'll fix it. Hey, what's going on? Albus McShort, thank you. Hope you're managing after a lot of personal stuff. Do you know if or when we get the Archer Prize? Yes, in literally 12 hours. You will be able to fly around your very own NX-01. Yo, what's going on? Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Hey, guys, you want to see something cool? Look at my screen. I got rated earlier today. Another 500 billion resources. Don't make fun of me, JB. I didn't. Look, I've got so many chests to claim. I got so many things to do. I've done bad on all the things. Wow. Guys, thank you. What happened to my shields? They're up. JB, leave me alone. I've been busy. JB. I get rated every single day. Hey, what if, wait, McDougal, why is it every time you log on during a stream, all your ships are dead? Because that's how my game perpetually lives, okay? My game lives this way, guys, because this is going to sound crazy. This is going to sound crazy. I haven't played a whole lot. Sorry. It's been I've just been busy, okay? Just been busy. Oh, God. Anyway, listen, we're going to talk all about it. We've got a video to watch tonight. I'm going to answer questions, as many questions as I can possibly answer in the next 2 hours and 3 minutes, all right? That's what you guys get. And somewhere in there, I'm going to try to maybe claim my dailies, okay? Listen, guys. Leave me alone. Stop it. All right. How many blueprints will the new NX-01 take? 200. 200 blueprints. 200. Will there be a way to earn it? Yes. At 1 blueprint a day. Hokey, listen, I do teach you the game. I do teach the game. Listen, there is a do as I say, not as I do kind of mantra thing that goes on. Bubba Joe, what's up? Listen, they're making fun of me because I got rated for another $500 billion. It was only a $500 billion, though. Seriously.
That was my doing.
I know it was. As a matter of fact, I do indeed know it was. Bubba Joe and Jonathan Ingram conspired to raid me today because apparently I have convinced somebody else that hazards are cool. So that conversation came up, and Jonathan Ingram and Bubba Joe got together and was like, oh, no, can't be having that. Hercules, thank you for your 13-month resub. Master Yodi, 17 months.
Every time someone likes hazards, DJ's getting rated.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. To Emmy Moza. Listen, maybe I'm just being a really nice neighbor to my friends on server 15. Anybody ever think about that? JB? Huh? Anybody ever think about that? Maybe I just like giving stuff away. Huh? It's possible.
It is possible.
It is possible. All right, guys. Benny Hill says, DJ beat the game now that he has the Sanctus. You know, Bubba Joe would say that that's probably not wildly untrue.
It's not too far from the truth.
It's very, very close to the truth. Lango, 7 months on the resub, 7 months with this insane cat. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Very, very much. Okay. Is there a free-to-play path for the NX-01? Yes. It will be. I mean, there is a path. Let's put it that way. Yes. You will be able to earn shards in the first month. You will be able to earn extra shards. You'll be able to buy extra shards. But it is a 200 blueprint ship that will allow you to earn 1 or 2 blueprints a day. We're going to talk about the details of that coming up here momentarily.
That's not so bad. It's like 50 days then, right?
No, it's 200 blueprints.
Oh.
And they're going to allow you to earn 1 or 2 blueprints per day. Here's the thing. They are going to cost export credits, which means that long story short, again, with the export store being somewhat valuable to a lot of players, you're going to have to diversify your spend. You're going to have to choose. You're going to have to decide what it is that you want to go in and do. So, like, if you're coming through and you're doing the ship scrap or this or that, or you're buying other things, or you're buying favors and all that stuff, that's right, AJ Dog. Time to make a choice. All right. The NX-01 will be ops locked. That's correct, Silver Tab, to ops level 40. Webster Sponge says which currency. So the one blueprint option, I believe. Now, listen, I could be wrong on this because they didn't give it to me specifically, and I haven't seen it, but I have been told that you could do 1 or 2, but it increases the rarity. So I'm going to guess that you can do 1 a day with common, and you could do the 2 a day with maybe uncommon or something like that. But they're reliant on each other, Bubba Joe. So, like, if you do 1, I don't think you can do the other. Like, you can't double up and get 3. So, yeah, there's a 1 option and a 2 option, but the 2 option is going to be more expensive. Okay? So, there you go. What type of ship is the NX-01? It is indeed going to be an Explorer, a Grade 4 Epic. And not only will it take some materials, but it will also take export credits, Bubba Joe. I don't know that this ship is going to be very quick. I don't know that it's going to be a very fast one, everybody. Kinky Boot says, I'm Ops 38 with 2 months until Ops 39. Is it worth me playing? Yeah, of course. Again, continue doing your build-up. Continue ramping up. Continue earning and all this other stuff. Are you going to be able to build the NX-01 this month? No. But you can still do other export stuff, build up your rep. Listen, you might even be in a better spot. Bubba Joe, I may possibly pay a penalty this month. I don't mean buy, I mean pay a penalty this month because I did no favors last month, okay? I really didn't do a whole lot of double pulls and all the things. Look, I got 2,500 uncommon, 1,400 rare, 200 epic, okay? I got nothing going on here. If I started to go through all these favors, then I'm going to have nothing left for blueprints. So I might even argue that potentially, if you're not Ops 40 yet, that gives you a chance to get a head start on your favors. Okay? So maybe not necessarily a bad thing. Okay? Cruzito says, yeah, but you get the ship from Scopely. That's true, but I'm still not going to be able to really effectively use it because I haven't engaged with this loop in really any form or fashion. Plus, Scopely's a little bit grumpy with me tonight. I was a little bit of a sourpuss earlier in a meeting. I was a little bit grumpy, Bubba. I know you can't imagine.
That's surprising.
I know you can't imagine that.
Could not possibly imagine.
I got a message from Rev. Let me just read this. I was talking to somebody about this earlier. By the way, I don't want to out anybody's name unless you want to come up and say you are part of this conversation. I was just talking to XYZ about this earlier. Every time I see your interactions with Scopely, I think, I remember when I hit that stage. I'm a little grumpy. Bubba Joe, you know what? I was actually going to name the show something a little bit pokey with a stick tonight. You know what I was going to name it?
What?
I was going to name it Another New Hostile, Another New Loop. In quotation marks, just like I did last month when you convinced me that it was all good, everything was new, and everything was great.
I believe what I said last month was that the hostel was interesting.
Well, I'm going to be able to copy everything about Arcfall last month for Arcfall this month, which does have me a little bit grumpy. Okay. AJ says, are you serious? Another one coming. What do you mean, another one? Another hostel? Yes. Another loop? Kinda. Yes. New currency, new loop, new refinery that will require the use of you grinding a secondary hostel aside from the Zindies. You're going to have the new Zindi Aquatics. Oh, yeah. And this is part of my grumpiness, Bubba. I just, seriously, I could use the same show title from last month. Another new hostel, another new grind. And it just drills into my skull. However, what we should do, that's right, no new armadas. Echo finally got that one through to game design. No new armadas. All right, so that's good. All right, Not yet. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to take a look at Beck's video because I did watch it. There's good information in it. Let's see. Hell. Found it. All right, we're going to watch Beck's video, and we're going to do just like we always do, Bubba Joe. We're going to kind of break this thing down as we go through, okay? I think that's we enjoy doing that as a group here, as a community.
Okie dokie.
So what we'll do is we'll watch this. Hang on. All right. So let's pull up this video. This is Beck's new video that she just posted out here a little bit ago. All right, the NX01 is here, opening with a beautiful and wonderful quote from Zephyrin Cochran. I actually really like that. It's very, very nice, Beck. Good job.
Now, for the first time, commanders can experience the ship that took humanity on its first steps out on its trek through the stars. The Enterprise NX-01 saved the galaxy from the threat of the mysterious sphere builders and their pawns, the Xindi, once before, and now it's here to do it again.
Oh, sorry, you guys in ads? Why is there ads? Why is there ads again? Jeez. Hang on, Tactical Cream. I'm going to tell you about Pick Hugh. Actually, crazy enough, I'm not like wildly upset about Pick Hugh. Okay. I mean, because he has a path, at least. He's got a path. It's in the NX-01 refinery. Floyd, I don't know, man. Twitch has been very twitchy with their ads here lately. So I'm sorry. It says that there's ads for another 15 seconds. So, yeah, you know, you can avoid the ads by subbing to the channel. Hey! You can do that. Yeah, that's right, Duke. Duke's got it figured out. No ads here. Thanks, man. Appreciate your support. All right, now, okay, I'm getting this question. Wilson says, but Pick Hugh has no part of the series. Why Pick Hugh? Because Pick Hugh is the face of the X-Borg. Okay, Pick Hugh is the face of the X-Borg faction. And because the X-Borg Bubba, they've done this before where they kind of tie two features together. This is the Enterprise arc. It's the Enterprise story, the Enterprise narrative, but they are expanding the X-Borg faction as a result. So Pick Hugh is indeed part of the X-Borg faction, okay? And that's why he's going to be sourced within the X-Borg faction. His sourcing doesn't have anything to do with the normal arc, the normal events, et cetera, okay? And there could have also been, as Tarpitude points out, a play on words, Bubba Joe, because this month, in the month of Valentine's, we will be able to say that we pick you. You get it? We pick you, Bubba Joe.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. It's very clever. Cute. All right. Now, that being said, Hugh is the face of the X-Borg. He's representing the X-Borg faction, which is not anything to do with Enterprise. Now, pick Hugh. Epic officer. You also have Archer, an epic officer, okay? Archer and Shran will be your two officers this month. They're going to be sourced in traditional fashion, but Hugh is completely different. Think of it like when Barclay came with the holodeck, right, Bubba Joe? Like, it's kind of a different thing. Think of it when Mavery came with Syndicate. All right, those are the kinds of sourcing that you're going to expect to see with Hugh. Has nothing to do with the arc, okay? So there's your answer to that question. Lango says, I'm a nerd. All right, let's continue with Beck's video now that everybody's back from break.
Again. Far from an obsolete museum piece, the NX-01 is equipped with...
Pause right here. We're going to pause right here. Bubba Joe, what we can see here from this screen is that this is indeed an epic 4-star ship, okay? We know that. It's an epic 4-star ship. I also want to point out the passive ship ability. We begin, Bubba Joe, with 16 million% to base damage against Xindi aquatic hostiles and deflects 9 shots at the start. All right, let's talk about this. Why we're going to be doing it. Okay, good question. Why against aquatics only and not Xindi? Because new hostile, new loop. Okay, they can't be crossing over, Bubba Joe. Why would you expect things to be made easier with older loops? Anywho, 16 million% boost to damage against Xindi Aquatic. Okay? Meaning, Bubba Joe, there's a couple of things to draw here, inference-wise. A, if this ship is going to be a combat ship, okay, just routine, regular combat, do we expect this ship to have very big stats? If it's got a 16 million% boost to damage, do we expect it to have great stats?
No.
Probably not, okay? Because if you were going to have decent stats in normal, typical combat, then it wouldn't need a 16 million% improvement, okay? Now, the other side of that coin, Bubba Joe, is it could be a decent regular use ship, and that the Xindi Aquatic Hostiles have been made in just an absolute ridiculous, insane format that even Canine Tooth cannot defeat without an NX-01. In other words, Bubba Joe, these new hostiles are NX-01 exclusive, meaning that this new loop, this new hostile, this new currency, and this new refinery require the purchase, or acquisition rather, of the NX-01. Do we agree on one of those two scenarios there, Bubba Joe? We can also see that at tier 1, with whatever level account this is, it's 16 million, which does actually lend me to the original thought process, Bubba Joe, that it's not going to have crazy stats and probably just going to be minorly or significantly effective against Xindi Aquatics. Okay? So that is what we've got here with the Franklin 01. Or NX. Ring a bell, anybody? The NX-01, all right? The Enterprise. All right, let's continue.
Special systems designed to counter the Xindi and give you the edge over these formidable adversaries.
All right, let's back up just for a second. We just saw this screen flash. Right here, you guys can see that the ship will indeed be using multiple rarities of X-Borg credits. So we've got commons right here. We can see
and
uncommons.
a specialty resource?
Uncommons here. And a specialty resource to build the ship. These are going to be ship parts. Now, I was told that there were original materials in this. I'm going to assume by this screenshot that that's probably not the case. All right. So because they've only got one other spot up there. So I'm going to assume just specialty ship parts and uncommon and or the multiple varieties of X-Borg credits. Okay. Tarpitude says, did I quote you okay on that? Is that right? Hold on. Let me try it again, just in case I got that wrong. Tarpitude says, I think I got that right. All right. So
I don't know. You might need to do that a little bit longer.
I've got a button if it needs to go longer. All right. So these are the currencies that we're seeing here in tiering up the ship components. Bubba Joe, this this is what makes me laugh at what I might refer to as lack of foresight. Do any of the do any of the X-Borg favors, all the ones that everybody was so excited about with material efficiency and ship component efficiency and all the other efficiencies in the game, all the multi-level primes, all the greatest things in the universe that come down to material efficiency, they're all going to help us, right? Right?
No.
Right, Bubba?
No.
No, indeed they're not, folks, because this is not a typical material, okay? These are going to require uncommon credits, and therefore there are 0 efficiencies that will help you with this ship, at least as of now. Okay, let's continue.
Over these formidable adversaries. Let's take a closer look at this ARC's new ship and what it has to offer. The Enterprise NX-01 is available to players Ops 40 and above, and bring...
What's that?
Check out the crew they had on there.
Yes. Now, there is something interesting in this video. I'm going to share this with you in just a couple of moments because this is actually super cool. They've got Archer, Tucker, and Janeway as the crew. Now, I just want you to remember this, okay? Just jot that down. Archer, Tucker, Janeway. Just make a little note, okay? Just make a little note. We'll come back to it. Yo, Shadowbrat, thank you for your 9-month resub. Traitor! I've spotted a wild traitor! Traitor's in the chat, Bubba Joe! Traitor, what are you doing, traitor?
What?
I see a wild traitor just popped up in the chat. How you doing? What you doing, girl? How's you? Runs away screaming. Thanks a lot.
Scared her off.
I did. I scared her off. Okay, let's continue. So, yeah, make a mental note of that crew, Bubba. I'm glad you actually mentioned that because that's actually something cool that I want to show you. Also, if we wanted to jump ahead a little bit, I want you just to take a quick peek at the active ability of that ship. Bubba Joe, we've seen that symbol somewhere before. Does anybody know what this symbol is? Huh?
I know what that symbol is.
That symbol is the symbol for fog of war. Yeah. Do you remember the hint that I gave this past week, Bubba Joe? It was kind of good. It says, we've all guessed, and some may be right about what will be coming soon to take flight, but what will it do, or what can it see? This new ability is sure to split the community. Bubba Joe, sounds an awful lot like this NX-01 is going to have the galaxy's best sensors for it to be a first-generation ship, and it will now appear and show you the contents of hidden fog of war systems. You, I bet, are just absolutely thrilled.
No.
And therefore, the new ability is going to split the community. Because I kind of like it myself. But Bubba Joe's not. All right. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a moment. Let's continue.
The Enterprise NX-01 is available to players Ops 40 and above,
40 plus.
And brings with it an improved efficiency for the Xborg faction extension. Upgrading the NX-01 will unlock unique rewards such as new favors and faster paths to the top tiers of existing favors. The NX-01 will also be added to field training with its own rewards there.
All right, let's remind you that field training is going to give blueprints. Okay, or at least so I've been told. Actually, I don't think that makes sense. The field training, you'll get the field training after you build the ship. I think it's got credits in it and ship parts. Okay, so you're going to have that. There was something else that they said they were going to do with blueprints, and I don't remember what it is right off. Duval, thank you for your 20-month resub. QWERTY, what's up? Thank you for your 15-month resub. Sounds like this arc is one I'm going to be participating in. And uninstall the game? One or the other. Listen, I'm going to give it a shake. I'll play, but I might do exactly like what I did this past month, Bubba Joe, and just not really not chase it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just going to chase it or anything, Anyway, so
no, Cruzito, what you saw was that they had 1 million uncommon credits.
Oh, yeah. Let's go back. Remember, these are from dev accounts, okay? These are from dev accounts, so don't get all panicky on me. Where were the material costs? Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, right here. This one, for example, and don't take anything, don't necessarily believe that these are the correct values either. Again, remember that these were in a test environment. The values could be different, but this is showing a Mark I warp engine requiring 420 common export credits and 110 uncommon. But again, those values may not be actually the actual numbers, okay? They could definitely be different. I should also point out and remind you, one thing that Beck said is that owning this is going to open a new refinery, and pending the tier of your NX-01 will increase its rewards in the Xborg faction. So that will increase your daily income of common and uncommon credits. Is it going to increase it to the point where you have a surplus? Probably not anytime soon, but as you tier it up, obviously the material cost or the credit costs are going to increase as well, so that will increase with the tier of the ship, okay? All right, continuing on.
Over these formidable existing favors. The NX-01 will also be added to field training with its own rewards there. The NX-01
half! This is what we do. We don't play the video all the way through. You can do that yourself. We're breaking it down. We're breaking it down half frame by frame. Okay, you can watch Beck's video anytime you want. We're analyzing. Hey, Beck's in the audience. What you doing? Hold on. I've got a sound alert for that, Bubba Joe.
Hey, Puddin'.
What you doing? Where? Oh.
Hi, Beck.
Hi, Beck.
Hey, Puddin'.
She says, I'm not
Why do you
here.
gotta do that?
What?
That sounds like uber creepy.
It does sound creepy, but I mean, it's the pudding is the. All right, that does sound super creepy. There's really not any defending that, is there?
Oh, Beck's not here. Bye, Beck.
Bye, Beck. All right, see you later.
Whoopsie.
All right. Wait, do it again? No, I think Beck or Bubba just said it was super creepy.
Hey, Puddin'.
All right, anyway, continuing on.
Offers a daily source of export credits of all rarities, and it's also the only way to source the brand new Officer Epic Pick Hue. And as you tear up the ship,
Thank you, Hattori.
Pick Hue shards grows. Epic
right.
Pick Hue. And as you tear up the ship,
So what she just said, I'm going to rewind this and play it back because we actually just talked about this a second ago, and I think we missed it. Hang on, because there was a sound alert. Here it is.
and it's also the only way to source the brand new Officer Epic Pick Hue. And
Yeah. I'm buffering. I'm buffering! Why am I buffering?
as you
You're
tear up the ship,
on a mountain.
Why is there buffering? No, the mountain internet's fine. I think it's because too many people are watching the YouTube video. Is that what it is?
Too many people on the
the
mountain.
NX-01 offers a daily source of export credits of all rarities, and it's also the only way to source the brand new
credits.
Officer Epic Pick Hue.
Pick Hue!
As you tear up the ship, your daily income of Pick Hue shards grows. Now let's take a look at Epic Pick Hue. Pick Hue's below deck ability allows him to be highly versatile across all warships, repairing a percentage of hull health damage taken each.
All right, Bubba Joe. We have a favor for this already. Let's talk about this very quickly, okay? Okay,
Yes.
Bubba. Last month we got export favors that increased or replaced the percentage of hull. All right, replaced a percentage of hull damage that was taken in the prior round. Okay, what we see here, Bubba Joe, is more of the same. Now, Dragon Keeper says Hue is better than the favors. I agree, but it is kind of more of the same. What we're talking about here is emergency protocol. Okay, for example, tier 1, 3%, tier 5, 20%. All right, on the favors, where if you have an interceptor and if it's below a certain percentage of hull health, then it will restore this amount of hull damage taken in the previous round. Okay. We're going to come back over here and take a look at Hue. Again, this is a below-deck ability. And I want to point out, Bubba Joe, that there is no mention of PvP, PvE exclusive, Armada, Assault, none of that stuff. Okay? At the beginning of each round, Hue will repair 5% at Tier 1, 35% at Tier 5, of hull damage taken in the previous round of combat. No conditions, no exceptions. Now, Bubba Joe, I might argue that if comparing that against the favor, where you have to have a state of hull breach, burning, or morale, you also have to be below 35% hull health. Not only that, but these percentages are significantly weaker, all right? Almost 50% weaker even at max, all right? So I will agree with the statement that Pick Hue is wildly more valuable than the favors. I agree. Does that actually make him valuable? Bubba Joe, your first glance reaction at Pick Hue. Keep in mind, it's a below-deck ability.
Exceptionally meh.
Exceptionally meh. Why do you feel that way?
Because if it repaired your hull damage based on the damage you've already taken, like at all, like from hull from 100%, but of the 5% of the damage you've taken that round, like that's not really relevant. Even if it's 35%, even if it was 75%, it's not relevant.
Well, I don't know about 75%. 75% would be pretty daggone relevant. Okay. Yeah. Again, you're not seeking immortality, but you're seeking the extension of life. what this officer will do, okay, is for X number of hostiles with or without, he will cheapen repair costs. Let's just look at it for what it is, okay? If you got to kill 20 hostiles with Hugh, without Hugh, it's going to cheapen your repair costs, okay? Our repair costs, and I know I'm going to regret asking this question, but are repair costs a crazy problem right now? Maybe they are in G6. Maybe they are in G5. Maybe they are for early players of any generation. I remember the shell shock when I went to G5. I remember the shell shock when I went to G4. Okay? All this is going to do is not necessarily improve your odds in battle. Bubba, we've talked about that. Even the favors. I've thought a lot about this. You're right. Does it extend battle one round? Probably not. Does it extend battle by one shot? Maybe. 2 shots? Improbable. Are we agreed there?
Yes.
What this does is allow us to spend less for a fixed amount of time / cost investment. If I've got to go kill 20 hostiles, it'll be cheaper with those favors. It'll be cheaper with Pick Hugh. Okay? Zandy says it will potentially give additional life. It could be good in Q's trials. I don't know about Q's. I don't know there, Zandy's. I mean, it could be. Don't know. All right? But what I do know is that by repairing pieces of your hull, it will just make repair costs less. Okay? Now, if you kill...
So here's the thing, DJ.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. Let's say let's assume he's max rank, which no one's going to have. But let's just take it at the 35% level, okay?
Okay.
How much damage are you taking?
What are you hitting? Because I kind of wanted to point out, if you're doing this against Zindy, where you kind of need to kill him in 1 to 2 rounds, is this officer going to be magnificently wonderful against Zindy, for example?
Well, why don't we start by you pointing out the hostile that you aren't killing in 1 round?
I guess that would be a freebooter. I'm not killing a freebooter in 1 round.
Fair enough.
I'm not.
You're also not taking any damage against freebooters.
Very low damage. That's true. It's a very low damage. Mantis is a Tau hostile still.
So Tau, like doing this with Tau is an interesting thing because you'll be able to take some of the damage, right?
Right.
But my point is that all the hostiles that you want to kill in the game, you want to kill in the first round, whether it's Zindy.
Correct.
Like against Zindy, this isn't going to do anything.
Not if you can kill it in the first round. Now, I do remind you, there are a lot of players who are not there yet. All right, let's go back and remember some of the conversations we had with 40s and 41s and 42s. Do I think that Pick Hugh is going to be better for a 40 through 42 than he would be for a 55? Sure, I do. Okay, because I believe that this officer is going to give marginal improvement at those who are struggling at the edge. Okay? Marginal improvement to those who are struggling at the edge. Bubba, I do not expect you to be excited about Pick Hugh. I expect Joker to be excited about Pick Hugh. I expect Putz and Karkin to be excited about Pick Hugh. I expect Medic to be excited about Pick Hugh because it could be marginal enough to where somebody who's an Ops 40 or 41 who's having to hit the 34s, this might get them enough to kill those 40s. Okay?
So who are you pulling for your below deck?
Well, you got to remember, if you're an Ops 40, you're still using a G3 ship. Okay? Right?
Okay.
If you're Ops 40, 41, you're still using a G3 ship. So you've got underdeck spots galore. Okay? Who would I swap for him? Depends on what I'm flying. Depends on what I'm flying. If I'm flying the new NX-01, then I'm going to remove Mariner. If I'm flying
if you're
a regular...
flying the new NX-01 as a 40, you're not going to have lots of below deck spots.
That's right.
So let's say for an average player, you have 3. Is he in your top 3?
Depends what I need on stats. Doctor could be, top 3, but that might be a luxury that you may not have. You still don't need Hugh unless you have crit floor. So that could be a luxury that you may not have. You definitely want Belana Torres. Depending on what you're running on the bridge, you might want Tom Paris, possibly. And I can imagine a scenario in which Odo would be good. But depending on what your situation is, survivability-wise, I could see potentially removing Odo for Hugh. Possibly. Again, we're going to have to test it. We're going to have to see how it works. All right? I'm not saying that that's going to be good. I think what we're going to see here, Bubba, is one size does not fit all. Same thing as what we've kind of seen the last couple of arcs. So this is not going to have the same effect.
Zindi is one thing. Zindi is one thing, but let's take Zindi out of it. Who are your below deck slots? Let's see if the chat can figure out who are your below deck slots and where Hugh fits in.
What?
Who's number one?
Against Zindi?
No, not against. Let's take Zindi out of it.
All right. My typical. Here, we're going to do this.
Who's number one?
For me, Doctor.
Okay.
Number two, Hugh. 3.
What's number 3?
BLT. Those are my 3, always.
That's your 3. That's a guaranteed 3. After that, we start talking about Enterprise E Troy or Odo.
Sure. Yes.
Or if you have
possibly
you have Fleet Commander Kirk,
possibly.
You probably are talking about Harry Kim.
Maybe.
To get morale.
Sure.
If you're flying a battleship, you might need burning. So now we're talking about Neelix.
Maybe.
Where does Hugh figure into that?
I don't know.
It's after all of that. Even at 35%, it's after all of that.
I think so. Maybe. I don't know. I don't necessarily disagree. I do think that we're going to have to break this down. We're going to have to test. I think one size not going to fit all here. I am looking at this officer as marginally better than the X-Borg favors. Can you guys see how excited I've been about the X-Borg favors?
If Hugh triggered at the start of every round and healed a percentage of missing hull, now we could have something. Now we might be cooking with gas. He could be a hostile that could do something.
Hugh does proc at the beginning of each round.
But only heals the damage you've taken in the previous round. What happens in round 1?
You take, in round 1, he's not going to proc, but you also haven't taken damage. So it's a wasted proc in the first round.
Correct. So he procs and you generate no hull damage. You generate no repair. So you go to round 2. So it starts in round 2. But if it started in round 1 and healed a percentage of your hull, you've got 5% of your hull missing and it heals 5% of that 5%. Or 35% of that 5%. Now we've got something because now he's relevant in every single round and in every single battle.
So you're wanting him
to
be a per weapon proc.
Hazards.
You want him to be a per weapon proc. Yeah.
No, I want him to be a start of round proc that heals a percentage of your missing hull.
Of missing hull. So, yeah, I could see that. So the only time he's not effective is on first hostile, first round, first shot. That's
Correct.
The only time he would not do anything.
Only time he's not effective.
Yeah, I can see
And now
that.
you've got something.
I think that's brilliant. Listen, guys, Twitch is on roids tonight. I have to take a break very quickly. We will hang out. We've got more of this video to go through, and in 1 hour and 24 minutes, we'll be handing you off to the crazy quintet that is Samo, Iron Chef, Morbid John, Captain Jesse, and Scribbler. So we'll be checking in with them coming up at 11 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Please don't go anywhere. My name is UltimatDJz. More from Beck's video on the other side of this break. We will be right back.
Is this what you do during breaks?
Sometimes.
Okay.
not really.
As long as this is normal, I guess. I'm not Trader. I don't understand all the wildness that's been happening on Twitch since I was last year.
I turned the mic off and I just start dancing. All right, I just start doing the. Oh yeah, sorry.
I turn off the microphone and I just start grooving. Shorts says, "Is it going to be a $99 ship?" Probably, but I don't know. Jonathan Ingram says, I wish I could unsubscribe so I could get ads instead of this. Shut up. Raj says,
Jonathan Ingram gets to raid your base for being funny.
Raj says, have you had a chance to do prize closets yet? Nope. But I will tell you, I actually did start putting them together. I just haven't sent the list. But I started putting the list together. Baby steps. Stony Dude, thank you for your 20-month resub. Good old boy, thank you for your 15-month resub. And Archer with the 12-month anniversary resub. Thank you. Nura is unsubscribing as well. Damn it. Raj says, can you buy me the day one pack for the NX01? Wait.
Do I owe you $100? Because otherwise the answer is no. Captain Taylor says free blueprints on day one. Guess that doesn't mean all of them. Yeah, I'd say that's probably an accurate guess. Baconfish says, I assume this is primarily a Discord broadcast. Why would you say that? No, I'm actually not taping podcast or anything tonight. And we're not broadcasting in Discord. It's Twitch only. Twitch only tonight. It's just Twitch. Everywhere It Matters says Hugh's below deck ability isn't as bad as everyone is saying it is. Listen, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm actually saying it's marginally better than the X-Borg favor. I think it's not going to extend battle. I think, if anything, it will make repair costs a little bit cheaper. But again, only for hostiles that you're not killing in the first round. Shut that door. I agree. All right. LAX Racer says, I still don't care.
This is so bad.
Mac and Bay says it seems like it's going to be roughly a 5% net hull damage reduction. It's actually going to be slightly better than that because it's going to be 5% per round. Well, yeah, I guess 5% per round still ends up being 5% of total, right? Kind of, mathematically. Putts, 5% per round. Does that equal 5% all the way around? It's actually going to equal a little bit, tiny bit more than that by the end of battle, right? Because it's going to be doing it per round, so you would get some of that hull. No, I think it's still going to be 5%.
DJ, is it 5% of what you are losing that round?
Yeah.
Or is it 5% of total?
5% of what you lost. So I think it's still going to be a net 5% damage reduction, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the best way to look at it.
Leon says, so if you're taking less than 5% damage in a fight, will it heal everything back? Yes, and it will cap at your original hull value. It'll cap at 100%. It will not Leslie your ship. All right? So, yeah. Oh, yo, what's up, Tuesday? Break is over. That's right. We're back. All right, so we talked about Pick Hugh's below-deck ability. What I actually find to be slightly more interesting about this is actually his officer ability, Bubba Joe. Let's take a quick peek from digital content director Beck Likes Plants.
Round. This mining ability is completely new and unique. Loot booster mining. Just make sure you still have some room in your cargo for his extra materials. PICU is exclusively sourced via the Enterprise NX01 refinery.
Wait a second. Did I miss it? Didn't she show? Oh, no, I didn't watch it yet. Okay, here. We missed.
Enterprise NX01 refinery. The greater the tier of your NX01, the more shards you'll get.
Oh, sorry.
His officer ability is Plan for the Future, which increases the amount of raw ore, crystal, and gas collected while mining with any ship by an extra % without draining the mining node faster.
Okay, let's talk about this, Bubba Joe. This is new tech. Okay? This is new tech. Yes, this is my first time streaming Caramel Thunder. Thank you. I'm a newbie. All right. No, I don't have the break screen on anymore, Kinky Boots. You're just behind. Okay, Carissa says this is huge for G6. Maybe, possibly. Okay? Bubba's going to say no, but many other people are going to say yes, possibly. Okay? Let's talk about this, Bubba Joe, because even amongst the content creators, even amongst the pack, there was a lot of confusion. Let me explain this very, very, very carefully, okay? If I click my miner and I click a node, and it says I'm mining at 50,000 an hour, okay? And by the way, I think Wanderer B is right, Bubba Joe. I just had to back that up a second. It's only going to give you back 5% of what was lost. So if you only took 4% of damage, it's going to give you back 0.75% of your total damage. Yeah,
Yes.
it's 5% of what you lost. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I answered that question incorrectly a moment ago. I did answer that question incorrectly. If you lose less than 5%, you're still not getting back to 100%. It's going to be 5% of the 5%. Thank you
Correct.
for correcting me. I apologize. Yes. Apologies. 5% of 5%. Okay. Now, Paulo, let's do some nerd math. If I see a ship and I see a node and it says it's going to mine at 10,000 an hour and it's going to take 1 hour to drain, what is Hugh going to do, Bubba Joe? Let's just, for easy math, okay, let's use the 25% figure. That's an easy number, okay? If the node is 10,000 an hour and it's going to take exactly 1 hour to drain the node, with Hugh on the bridge, how long is it going to take to drain the node?
An hour.
1 hour. But at the end of that hour, how much loot will be in my ship?
5% more.
20. Well, I was going to use the 25% just to make it easy math.
Okay,
But
25% more.
25% more, so not 10,000, but 12,500. Okay? Now, let's rewind. Let's pretend that I'm at 10,000 an hour. It would take me an hour to drain the node, and I get attacked at 30 minutes. How much loot is still on the node? It's a 10,000 node. It would take me an hour. I'm mining at 10,000 an hour. How much is still on the node after 30 minutes? Half. That's right.
Half, yes.
5,000. How much is in my cargo hold?
Half plus 25%.
6,250. That's right. I'm going to have 6,250 in my cargo hold. There's still going to be 5,000. This is 5 of 11's loot bonus, Picard's loot bonus, whatever. These are loot bonuses, but for mining. Okay? It does not change the source. It does not change the base value. It does not change what's in the hostel. Doesn't change what's on the node. It only changes what you get per second. Okay? Meaning, Bubba Joe, that if I was on the node for 10 seconds, do I still get my 25% bonus if I'm tier 5 or 5% if I'm tier 1? Am I getting my bonus, or do I have to sit on it for X period of time?
You still have to set it on an X period of time.
Incorrect. Every tick, I'm getting my loot bonus. Meaning that if I still would take an hour to drain the entire node, but I would get that full bonus. So if I'm only on it for 20 seconds, I still get my bonus, but it's only going to be 25% of whatever I mined in that 20 seconds. Is this going to increase OPC? Yes. Okay? It will increase OPC. Is it good to use him on a ship like Voyager? Potentially. I see conflicting information in the chat. Everywhere It Matters says, don't use him on Voyager. Why not? It will still fill your cargo faster. Okay? It'll still fill your cargo faster. Okay?
Why?
Because you're not draining the node at a specific amount of time. You're going to max
He
your
only
cargo
works for ore,
faster.
crystal, and gas.
Yup! So ignore me!
Evidently, we have one of the CCs that was confused by this ability.
Uh-huh. Yep. All right. Yeah, Voyager doesn't matter because it's not crystal or gas. See, I was just testing y'all. I was just
Where's the Moopsy sound effect?
C.
There we go.
I was just playing with you guys a little bit. That's right, pro streamer. Okay. Now, will this matter for G6? Remember, crystal, ore, and gas. Bubba Joe, do you still have crystal, ore, and gas in G6?
Yes.
Yes. Will it matter for Sigma?
Sigma or Sigma steel? No.
Is there Sigma crystal, Sigma gas, or Sigma ore?
There technically it's just G6.
That's right. And this doesn't specify. So at this particular point, we are going to assume and have been told by game design that this will indeed impact and assist players with G6 material mining. Okay? It will not work on Sigma, therefore I said not resource mining, but material mining. Okay? So, crystal, ore, and gas going to get a loot bonus in this particular officer's ability. Now, Bubba Joe, I know you love mining.
I do.
Mm-hmm. We also know that you hate hazards.
Still true.
Still true. Will this officer ability be of value to you? And before you answer,
oh, okay, go ahead.
He says no. And the reason I was going to say before you answer, remind everybody, are you mining in hazard systems? The answer is he is not. Okay?
I am.
But you're doing it with immunity, right?
Yes.
Yes, he is now mining in systems in which he has immunity. All right? So, he doesn't need, unless you just want the loot bonus, the speed part of it, to be able to get your stuff and go home faster, okay? Which could be a thing, Bubba Joe. But you're mining 23 and a half hours a day anyway, regardless of how fast it goes. So you're good, right?
Yep.
He's not, again, you're exactly right. Now, Mac and Base says, let's be clear, this is indeed a net increase to the amount of materials that you mine, and that is correct. This is a new tech, a new formula, new math, and you are absolutely right that this is after every piece of research, every officer, every ability of the ship, every skin, every favor, everything that contributes to the speed. It is a net multiplier to what you see on the screen. In other words, could this be kind of like the old North Star? It's a similar concept, okay? Except this one's going to be a lot more sound and able to be mathematically derived. But yes, okay? It's the similar kind of thing, all right? Except not technically. North Star was still mining speed, so it would drain the node faster. This is just putting more into your cargo hold without not taking anything off the node. Now, are people impressed or excited about this? Depends on how much you like mining, I guess. Are you a miner at war? Do you live at war? Listen, mining fast, mining extra, great for wartime things. Mining in leaderboards, possibly, okay? This could be valuable to you, especially at a 25% net increase. However, I'm just feeling uninspired. Bubba Joe?
Yes.
Do you like PICU?
No.
Ah, okay.
And here's why.
Tell me why.
So if, for example, my ships could do anything after draining a node in G6 space, this might be interesting.
What do you mean if they could
This
do
doesn't
anything?
do anything. Because the cargo on the ships for G6 are so tightly controlled that they are basically a node plus some tiny extra. You can't do two nodes.
Okay.
This doesn't help with that. This doesn't change anything. They've designed the ships in G6 space so terribly that this isn't going to matter. I don't need to mine faster. I don't need to mine more. None of that is relevant because they've screwed up G6 so badly.
Okay, fair enough. I'm actually fine with that. Okay. However, not a lot of G6 out there. Not a lot of G6 out there for G5 ships that have 20 and 30 million cargo. Even for G4 ships that have 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 million cargo. Okay? This is, I mean, how many, raise your hands out there if you're a G4 player that goes to 5 million over cargo and doesn't get hit. Probably doesn't happen to you, right? You're going to get hit. You're going to lose that cargo. So this is going to allow you to get cargo a little bit faster. Again, wartime mining, this is going to be good. Again, 25% net increase. Yagadia asked a question, how does this compare to a 40% mining bonus by Quark? It probably knocks it out of the park because this is going to be net. If it shows you 50,000 an hour, then you are actually mining at whatever, 62,500 an hour. Okay? It's net. It's going to be better. Now, Dexy says move on. Listen, I'm being objective. Do I think this officer is worth me going and spending money on? No, because I'm not a big miner. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. However, this officer is sourced via the NX-01 refinery, meaning, folks, that it's not up for auction. It's not being sold that we are aware of. This is going to be Agamus style sourcing. It's going to be Mavery or Grush style sourcing. Okay? It's going to come via a progression through the NX-01 refinery. Okay? As far as we're aware, there are not going to be leaderboards, solo milestones, or packs available to buy pick Q. This is just going to be a side benefit of participating in the NX-01 loop. Kind of like Honor Guard Wharf. There you go. You could see some money to speed it up if you pay to tier up your NX-01 because your acquisition of pick Q is going to improve with the tier of your NX-01. Okay? So there you go. Okay? Robotsky says he will indeed be sold by buying NX-01 packs and export credits, and I don't necessarily disagree. I'm just saying you're not going to go out and buy 25 shards of this guy for $100. All right? Is anybody that's kind of the point that I'm making. Do I think this guy's worth the traditional $400 for unlock price tag, Bubba Joe? No, absolutely not. But if I get him through participation and engagement with the Arc, then sure, fine. Eventually, right? He's going to be like Barkley. He's going to be like Tendy. He's going to be like Honor Guard Wharf. Okay, as far as his acquisition. Okay? So that is...
Hopefully he's better than Honor Guard Wharf.
Hopefully. So that is Epic Hugh. Is he an Epic? Yes, he is an Epic Cruzito. He is Epic Pick Hugh. And there's his below deck and his officer ability. All right, let's continue, Bubba Joe, with the other officers that we're going to get.
Their below deck ability is Reclaiming Lives. At the end of each round of combat, repair a percentage of hull damage taken during that round of combat. The NX-01 also brings with it a large cargo bay for OPC hunting and focuses on hull health points instead of shield health points. As a result, officers that rely on diverting incoming damage to the shields will be less effective on this ship, but research and other effects that amplify hull health points will be considerably more effective.
I want to focus in on that for a second, okay? I actually really like the low-key statistical information that Beck just gave us. Bubba Joe, why don't you interpret the information that Beck just provided? Do you want me to rewind it 15 seconds? Because I think that she low-key gave you nerds something to really hone in on here. All right, Jules Verne, take a listen.
Damage taken during that round of combat. The NX-01 also brings with it a large cargo bay for OPC hunting and focuses on hull health points instead of shield health points. As a result, officers that rely on diverting incoming damage to the shields will be less effective on this ship, but research and other effects that amplify hull health points will be considerably more effective.
All right, what does that mean? Sure. Let's talk about the stats of the ship, Bubba Joe.
Probably has very little shield. We actually probably could go back and see if it even has a shield module.
I don't know if I would be able to see that at this particular stage, but you're absolutely right. This ship is going to be Sarko-style shields. All right? That's right, Jules Verne. Think about this. An explorer without shields. Now, I remember before you nerds get all pissy, I remember last month Bubba Joe saying, how lore friendly would it be that the NX-01 doesn't have shields? Just reminding you guys.
Yep.
That's right, Lloydson. The NX-01 did not have shields in the show. This ship is going to have a little bit of shielding, but it's going to run out so daggone fast. Right, Bubba Joe? Like, if I had 10,000 shield points and I improve it by 100%, what am I still going to have? 20,000 shield points, which is nothing. Okay? That's right. This is narratively correct. It's going to have ridiculous hull plating, polarized hull plating, in fact. And Bubba Joe, it's going to be almost battleship style, almost Sarko style, meaning that it's going to survive on hull, meaning that percentage boosts to hull are going to have a vastly larger impact on this ship than shields. Beck just gave you guys a very, very crucial statistical piece of data as to how this ship is going to be built here. So when we're looking at shields, Bubba Joe, when we're looking at the crew that we're going to be putting on this, for example, just throwing out some crazy stuff, Janeway as a captain, Pike as a captain. Are these going to be appropriate captains for this ship?
No.
Absolutely not, because what do?
They divert damage to the shields.
They are putting extra emphasis on the shields. Just off the top of your head, what's going to be great on an officer on a ship like this? Tendi could be great. Could be. Possibly. All right. What else?
So just to point out that Grungandola posted in your Discord channel a picture. There is no shield module.
Even better. Okay.
There's cargo, warp, impulse engines, armor, and 4 weapons.
Yeah, that's right. Here's the armor, impulse, warp, cargo, and 4 weapons. Bubba's exactly right. There is no shield module, which again is lore friendly. So kudos and shout out real quick to game design / narrative who got this one right. Bubba Joe, you actually called this. You said it would be nice if they did this. And I actually just kind of want to point out design-wise, this is an appreciated kind of thing. I see in the chat people are fussy about no shields. But what Beck is telling you in this video is, hold up, super nerd fans. We got you, okay? And I love the fact that she put that in here, Bubba, because that is a super big takeaway. That is going to really start us right now starting to think about shields or starting to think about crewing for this ship in a different way. Last month, most people universally said, we like an out-of-the-box thinking on crew when it came to the Xindi hostiles. It wasn't cookie cutter. I'm here to tell you this NX-01 is probably not going to be cookie cutter either, okay? Just given the fact that there are no shields. And secondly, we're going to talk about the Xindi aquatic hostiles here in just a couple of minutes, but they have some interesting traits as well. All right, let's continue.
This opens up the door for players to really dive into strategy on how they will be using it. For the first time, there's also a refit launching with this update that will be available in the NX-01 refinery, which will cost credits to unlock. Once you unlock the refit, it not only gives you a stat boost, but also a free claim bundle of Parsteel, Tritanium, and Dilithium. At Operation 61 and above and Ship Tier 7, this claim will unlock Sigma resources as well, which progressing players will find helpful.
Bubba Joe, how many millions of Sigma resources are going to show up in this bundle?
0.0 something.
I'm very curious to see the number. All right, I did pass along the feedback. They listened to Bubba asking for millions a day. They did not give me the number, so I am fearful that the number is going to be like 10,000 a day or something like that. That being said, this is a daily drip of Sigma. Now, Bubba Joe, last month you said that Xindi gave you, as a G6 player, 0 benefit. Does
Correct.
Sigma, a daily drip of Sigma, does that change that?
Well, if it is a daily drip of Sigma, like the Bajoran store gives a daily drip because you have a Defiant and you don't even have to go do anything with it, then maybe, yes. But if it is a daily drip that I have to fuel by engaging in this loop that provides no other tangible value, the answer is probably going to be no, because it's not going to offset the cost of participating in
Of
the loop.
tearing up the ship. What I'm understanding, what I am hearing, and I do not have confirmation on this, but what I am hearing is that this is, in fact, a drip, a claim, Bubba Joe, that will not cost anything other than just the cost of getting it there. But again, we're also saying that Sigma doesn't unlock until Tier 7 of the NX-01. Let's listen to this piece again, Bubba Joe, and we'll see if you concur.
Free-claim bundle of Parsteel, Tritanium, and Dilithium.
I'm going to back up and go back
stat
up.
boost, but also a free claim bundle of Parsteel, Tritanium.
A free daily claim bundle. Okay? A free daily claim bundle. But she does mention the resources. I presume that will translate to Sigma if you get to Tier 7.
And Dilithium. At Operation 61 and above and ship Tier 7, this claim will unlock Sigma resources as well, which progressing players will find helpful.
As well. All right. So I am going to go out on a limb and trust Beck that this is going to be a daily claim that doesn't cost credits, Bubba Joe. But as you pointed out, is it going to be worth the exchange of getting that ship to Tier 7? All right. So, yeah, maybe not. That's right. Ship Tier 7. And, of course, we are talking about Sigma, Dave Hart. So that is going to be Ops 61. Nobody below 61 needs Sigma. Okay. So, yeah, nobody. That doesn't matter. If you're Ops 55, like, you don't care about Sigma yet. Okay? All right, let's continue.
The NX-01's ship loop expands upon Update 62's Exborg faction extension, which was released in January. This loop includes 15 new theme systems.
All right, let's go back.
Which was released in...
Long story short, Bubba Joe, we are going to... all right, I'm going to fly through this in like 2 minutes. We are going to unlock the NX-01, Bubba Joe, which, like the tally, is going to give us cell locks. Those cell locks are going to allow us to try to fly in to the new Delphic Expanse system, which are gated by cells, and we will be able to defeat brand new Xindi aquatic hostiles in these special systems. We're going to battle these Xindi aquatic hostiles, and they are going to provide us Xindi tech modules. These tech modules are going to be able to be exchanged in the NX-01 refinery to earn opportunity chips. All right. The more tech modules we get, the more opportunity chips we get. We then use the opportunity chips in one of 2 bundles. Let me be very clear about this. One of 2 bundles. It says, Bubba Joe, choose a risky or a safe reward path. Do you see this, what I'm seeing right here? Do you guys see this on your screen? It says choose a safe or risky reward path. Okay? Meaning that you will use your opportunity chips, Bubba Joe, in a conservative but guaranteed amount of credits. All right? Or we can spend more chips for a riskier payout, but with also the chance of getting nothing. Okay? I am, however, prepared to explain to you what those are. In the loot exchange, the safe roll has basically just the credits. Okay? Credits, that's it. Various amounts of export credits, common and uncommon. Okay? The risky roll will also contain the refit shards and pick hue shards. It also increases the odds at rare or at the uncommon. Sorry, increases odds of the common and uncommon and quantities, but will also introduce the chance at rare and epic. There is also a jackpot roll in the risky one. And the failure rate is 30%. Okay? Bubba Joe, meaning that if you spend in on the risky claim, you still have a 70% chance at a win. That's
I'm
right.
sorry. Did you say Bubba Joe has a 0% chance
Bubba
of winning the
Joe
claim?
exclusively has a 0% chance of success.
Yep, that's what I heard too. Okay.
All right. So now here's the thing. Did they learn nothing from Forbidden Tech? I do actually think that they did. Okay? Because Bubba Joe, I understand the sentiment. This does feel like Forbidden Tech, but what are they doing? You actually have the conservative opportunity. You don't have
You
to.
have the conservative opportunity, and let's not kid ourselves. When we talked about Forbidden Tech early on, it was 10% chance of succeeding, 20% chance to succeed.
That's exactly right.
This is a 70% chance to succeed. And as long as your account name is not Bubba Joe, that actually seems to hold true. So, I mean, that's something that's, players are going to decide. As long as you're not me, you actually might get a 70% return.
That's right. Okay. I mean, listen, are you going to hit it every day? Obviously not. Okay. You can expect to probably hit that 7 out of 10 days if you, and that's going to be a long-term average. Okay.
Did you do that math in your head?
I know. You're going to hit 5 in the first week, and it's going to feel
where's
terrible.
Where's the calculator? We got to bring it.
I got it. All right.
Huts,
but yes, you have a 30% failure rate. But again, I remind you, you are adding refit shards, you're adding pick hue shards, you're adding rare and epic export credits, and increasing the quantity of the common and uncommon. Depending on what the cost is for the risky box, I can see this mathematically actually possibly making sense. You know who's going to break it down for us is going to be Blue Mandalorian and Jules Verne. Because even if we fail 30% of the time, and Bubba, that's what we're going to have to assume here up front. If we fail 30% of the time, can we still make more payout with the 70% of success that we get? And I am going to 1,000% rely on Blue and Jules to kind of do that long-term math because the cost in opportunity chips will also vary. Okay? So there is... listen, I haven't seen the cost. It could end up being absolutely terrible. But, Becca, to answer your question, did they learn nothing from Forbidden Tech? I actually think that they did. This is by far and away better than Forbidden Tech. It's still a gamble, which is why they're telling us the odds right up front. 30% failure rate. All right, because they have to tell you that stuff. All right, 30% failure rate. Also, you can't buy the opportunity chips, so they technically didn't even have to tell us that. Okay? But they are. They're being forthright with it, which I do actually kind of like. And the fact that they're giving you the choice. Okay? They're giving you the choice. You can go with the safer path, and I can see people doing that. There are people that do single refinery pulls, Bubba Joe, because it's more efficient. I can see Dragon Keeper, for example, doing this. Okay? Doing the safe path. I can see me, depending on what the cost is, I can see me doing the risky one because I hate grinding. Now, of course, it does depend on how many opportunity chips we're talking about. If it costs double the amount of chips, I'm probably out. Okay? So we are going to see. Plus, again, that's going to speed up your refit shards and your pick hue shards and the rare and epic export credits. All right, so that's your use of the opportunity chips. Then we're going to use, obviously, all the export credits to claim the export faction bundles, buy export favors, upgrade the NX01, all the same stuff that we're using NXO or using export credits for now. We're just going to get more of them, okay? And go ahead.
DJ?
Yes.
Is this the only sourcing path for pick hue?
No. The NX01 loop is the only sourcing, but it's not only through the risky bundle.
That was being asked in the chat. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Did Beck say it was only through the risky bundle? Because I know that it's only in the loop, MDB, but I don't think that it's only through the gambling bundle. I think there's a secondary bundle as well. Okay? Yes, MDB, through owning the NX01. That is correct. That is the only way to source epic pick hue is having an NX01. But I
Yeah,
don't.
but I think that's correct. But I don't think that there was anything in there that said that the only way to get Hugh was through the risky path.
That's correct. And I was told, I'm pretty sure it's, let me see if I can find it here. I'm looking through all my notes right now. Give me a sec. My notes do not specify either, Bubba Joe, so I don't want to claim either way on that. My
That's okay.
notes do not specify.
It was a question in the chat, and I thought it was worth, bringing it up.
It's a very good question. All right, it's a very good question. And in all fairness to MDB, I know what you're claiming that Beck said, but you're asking a different question. NX01 is the only way to get Pick Hugh, but we don't know if this risky bundle is the only bundle that will contain him. Okay? So there you go. Good night, Robotsky. Okay. So, anyway. By the way, Zindy Scraps will be adding your cell token. So if you don't pull the Zindy Scraps, you don't get the tokens to go to the aquatic hostels. Okay. Whoa. Let's continue on.
Was that a little Mickey Mouse there?
This loop includes
Do what?
Was that a little Mickey Mouse that you dropped there?
Let's go, kids.
15 new theme systems containing Zindy aquatic hostiles, which can only be defeated using the NX01.
Why might they say, Bubba Joe, that it can only be defeated by using the NX01? Theories?
My guess is that they have a go home cannon that fires immediately based on the ability that it shows up on the NX01.
Let me remind you guys that we start at tier 1, level 1 at 16 million% to damage and 9 deflected shots.
That's not the point. Look at the rest of the ability.
And deflects 9 shots. Interesting. Let's continue.
Loop includes 15 new theme systems containing Zindy aquatic hostiles, which can only be defeated using the NX01. In order to travel to these systems, you will need to have a Delphic Expanse travel token, which is sourced exclusively from the NX01 refinery. This will cost Zindy Scraps, which are obtained by defeating Zindy Reptilian hostiles. Players who've unlocked the refit for the NX01 can also claim a second travel token each day via the refit's free claim bundle. The Zindy aquatic hostile exists in 2 variations, interceptors and battleships.
All right, let's look at these hostiles. This is the first one. This is an interceptor. This hostile has 10 shots per weapon. And all damage this hostile deals completely ignores player shields. Now, Bubba Joe, let's go back to the ship ability for a moment. The ship ability states that it will deflect 9 shots. Now, we got to be real careful with this because Scopely is not good in their terminology. Based on precedent, deflecting 9 shots would equal 9 weapons. We do not have confirmation from game design as to whether or not these 9 shots are from one weapon or all weapons. My guess is, Bubba Joe, my guess is on this, is that those 9 shots are still going to result in you taking 1 shot from each weapon. Okay, let's go back to the interceptor.
Second travel token each day via the refit's free claim bundle.
Buffering!
The Zindy aquatic hostile exists in 2 variations, interceptors and battleships.
Has 10 shots per weapon. By the way, I will also point out that this number is green, meaning it's a variable. Bubba Joe, if we go up in strength of hostile, we will also go up in the number of shots. However, we can also assume that at tier 1, level 1, we are deflecting 9 shots, which is also green, and a variable, meaning that we are going to go up in tier and level, and it will deflect additional shots. Okay? We got that? Aquatics are only firing 1 weapon, Divine, which actually makes sense because that 1 weapon will have 10 shots, of which 9 will be deflected. All right, let's continue.
This will cost Xindi scraps, which are obtained by defeating Xindi reptilian hostiles. Players who've unlocked the refit for the NX-01 can also claim a second travel token each day via the refit's free claim bundle. The Xindi aquatic hostile exists in two variations, interceptors and battleships. Xindi interceptors are low risk and a steady target for your Delphic Expanse activity. Interceptors
I want
are
to go
low
right here to the second ability of the Xindi aquatic interceptor. At the end of every round, this ship fires 9 shots from its super weapon that deals lethal damage to the enemy player's ship. Let me read it again, Bubba. At the end of every round, this ship fires 9 shots from its super weapon that will deal lethal damage to the enemy player's ship. Now, for the record.
Also,
yeah.
So that ability, sure, whatever. That first ability feels very targeted.
Sure. You know what it's meant to incentivize? Investing in your crit damage floor. At the start of the round, this hostile will reduce the player's critical hit damage by 2,500% for 2 rounds. By the way, does that mean that Belanatore, I'm sorry, this is such, you're right, Bubba, it's targeted, okay? Because hull breach, criticals, all that good stuff is going to be severely handcuffed here, okay? Is hull breach still good? Yes. Are criticals? No. We talked about this last month, okay? We talked about last month that Hugh, unless your crit floor was at least level 4 or higher, that Hugh was not a good ship to use against the Xindi hostiles. Bubba Joe, do we continue to see that plan here? Do we see that trend here where Hugh could actually be detrimental to your performance if you don't have the crit floor?
Yes, but the reason I think this feels targeted is the hostiles last month subtracted 500% every round for 2 rounds. Right? And those of us who actually understand the game said, oh, well, that's cute. I can still use criticals here. And this feels like, oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to show you.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah.
You know, players like Bubba and K9 Tooth, they invented the go-home cannons, everybody. I'm telling you. They might as well call it the K9 cannon. I told Scopely that I wanted to name it the K9 cannon from here on out. They said no. But I will. It's the K9 cannon forever. Okay? Anytime we see a go-home cannon, that was incentivized by players like Bubba, K9 Tooth, Ska, those people. Okay? That's right. The get wrecked cannon. All right, absolutely. Blue says, check chat room. This is actually really funny, Bubba Joe. This is for you.
It is funny.
This is for you. It fails every time of the time, every time.
Yes. Does not matter what the percentage is unless it is 100%. Fails every time of the time, every time.
There you go. That's for Bubba right there. Thank you for that. I like it. All right. So, yes, Hugh, not good unless you have crit floor. And I got to be honest with you, Bubba Joe, even for you, even for K9 Tooth, even for the game's most researched strongest player, is Hugh going to go on your below deck against the Xindi Aquatics?
For me, yes.
Why? Do you have more than 2,500%? Surely not.
No, but I have the crit floor up to 200%.
You got the floor at 200%. That's right, yeah. Yeah, no,
so
listen, if
I
it
will
works,
have all of my shots do 350% instead of having them
if
only
you
do 100%.
still have crit floor at 100% or higher, then it still makes sense. Earlier, Bubba was asking, who are you going to take off to put on, who was it? Archer? No, Hugh. No, it was Archer, right? No, it's Hugh. Who are you going to take off? Nobody, because you still need BLT and you still need Hugh. If you have your crit floor. Okay? If you have your crit floor. All right, let's continue. Now, these, by the way, these are the interceptors. These are the ones we're grinding, Bubba Joe. These are the ones that were meant to grind. But there's another one in here, a battleship. This battleship, following the same formula as the refinery, is a risky venture, meaning that the interceptors provide a steady flow of Zindi tokens or whatever it is that they're doing, okay? But the battleships will carry bonus levels of loot, jackpot levels of loot, except, Bubba Joe, that it will also have a 30% chance to send you home no matter what. Okay? 30-70. Same thing. Every time of the time, it works every time, says Bubba Joe. Okay? The battleship is going to be different. Let's take a look.
Risk and a steady target for your Delphic Expanse activity. Battleships are much more high risk and high reward, with a set chance of destroying your ship in the beginning of combat. If you
Let's talk about this, all right? First of all, let's take a look at the Interceptor's loot. 1,500 of the aquatic pieces, 25 scrap. Now, let's fast forward just a second to when she clicks on the battleship. Let's see.
Your Delphic Expanse activity.
1,500.
Battleships are much more high risk and high reward, with
Oh, it went away. Did we see it? That was like, I don't know if we're going to...
15,000.
15,000. 100 times the loot.
Battleships are much more high risk and high reward, with...
Yeah, that was too fast. All right, 100 times the loot. However, look at the
a
ability
set chance
on
of
this
destroying
thing.
your ship in the beginning.
This hostile
10
has
times the loot.
10 shots per weapon.
10 times the loot.
10
DJ.
times the loot, yeah.
Not 100.
10 times the loot. 10 shots per weapon, and all damage completely ignores the player's shields. But wait a second, Bubba Joe. It only ignores 9 shots, right? It only delays 9
Beginning
shots.
of combat.
But that's
If you
the same
survive...
as before.
Hang on. I'm trying to get to... Okay. I don't know if I can back this up frame by frame. Okay, right here might be the best that we get to see it, Bubba Joe. This is the battleship one, and I'm sorry for the bad screenshot, but it was on there. You saw it. It was just on there for a tenth of a second. At the start of combat,
30%
Bubba Joe.
chance. Yep.
At the start of combat, this hostile has a 30% chance to fire its heavy artillery on the 5th weapon of each round. Okay? So, by the way, whoever said it only has 1 weapon, I don't think that's correct. All right? At the start of combat, this hostile has a 30% chance to fire its heavy artillery on the 5th weapon of each round.
Well, you know what that means for Bubba Joe, right?
100% chance to send you home in a body bag.
Every time. 100%. Every time. It works every time.
Unimatrix says, I love DJ, but I'm never going to movie night with him. Listen, that's funny. I do start and stop a lot of things. Here, let me say thank you real quick. Archer. Yo, Archer. What's up, man? I haven't seen you around for a bit. Archer resub 12 months here a little bit ago. Stony Dude, good old boy, Waffly, White Wolf. Archer also dropped 5 gifted into the chat. Thank you very much for that. Crash Override and Anhani and Cube. Thank you guys also very much for your resubs. I missed all you guys. I'm sorry. I've been so nerding out over here. Okay. Aww. Thank you. I got a better screenshot. There you go, Bubba Joe. This is the screenshot of the battleship. All right. This is the screenshot for the battleships. There you go. 30% chance to fire heavy artillery on the 5th weapon of the round. Okay. Thank you very much for your extreme kindness. And by the way, Bubba Joe, I got the screenshot from the second ability. They scrolled on down. At the end of every round, this ship fires 9 shots from its super weapon, which is the same as the Interceptor. Unimatrix, thank you for dropping 5 gifted into the chat as well. Thank you, Unimatrix. I appreciate you guys. You guys are killing it tonight. All right. Divine says, last time we had a 2-hour stream for a 3-minute video. Yeah, listen, this was a 9-minute video, so. All right, but at least we're breaking it down. Listen, this is analytics. Anybody can go watch the video. Anybody can go watch the video. That's why you're here, because we're breaking it down. We're analyzing. All right, let's continue.
If you survive, though, and defeat the ship, you'll be richly rewarded. These are a good target at the end of your Delphic Expanse run, a big payout, or a shortcut back to your station. Loot from these hostiles.
I want to point out again that Beck is dropping more subtle hints as to how you should approach the battleships. Okay? Let me just ask Bubba Joe, what did Beck just tell you? I think she told you exactly when you should be hitting these things. Okay? Should it be something that you're trying to grind? Or should this be the last hostile you hit? Right?
Well, but I mean, does that? I guess I don't understand that strategy.
I kind of like the idea. It is a jackpot roll when you're ready to go home. It will give you a 70% chance at picking up a bonus amount of loot before you were ready to go home. Grind the interceptors, right, until you have what you need for the day. Pop a battleship to go home. You're either going to go home or you're going to win and go home with 10 times the loot for one hostile. That's right, Mac and Base. It's a chance for a big payout when you were going home anyway. Okay? It's a chance for a bonus, a jackpot roll for when you were going to go home anyway. Okay? So I actually kind of like that Beck is throwing that out there. That, by the way, is that the only strategy?
Sounds kind of like when
not.
You're mining on stream. You know you're going to go home anyway.
That's right. I might as well go home with some payout. Okay? So I actually kind of like the idea of what game design might have been thinking with this, because Beck is giving us that hint. Beck is telling us what they kind of thought of when they made this hostile. Bubba.
There'd be some good information there.
What's that?
Said there's some good information here.
There is. And I got to be honest with you. This is kind of, first of all, again, let me just say super huge kudos to Beck for putting this stuff together again and for peering inside the minds of game design, because it's clear, Bubba Joe, that we're getting some intent ideas here. Like, she's dropped 2 or 3 different things that clearly came from the writer, right? Clearly. All right, and these are one of them. Now, somebody is going to say, Divine says, we don't go home until we die anyway. That's true. So now they're giving us an opportunity to go home a little bit faster once we have done what we need to collect, right? Once we've done what we have to do, take an opportunity, take a chance, and go on home. All right, let's continue.
Styles can be exchanged in the NX01 refinery to obtain export credits, and epic credits can be exchanged to obtain pick Q shards and other valuable rewards. Players will want to take a look at one of the officers coming out this month, as they will play an integral role in the efficiency of the NX01. We bring you Jonathan Archer. Archer's captain's maneuver maximizes your time on the NX01, especially when he's joined on board by Trip Tucker and Janeway. He gives a massive boost to Xindi loot drops as well.
What? Bubba Joe, what was the crew that I told you to remember from the very beginning of the show?
Trip Tucker.
Giving synergy to Archer and Janeway.
Yep.
Huh. It's almost like they're giving you the crew meta too. Golly, silly. Let's figure out if it's actually going to work.
As a powerful increase in crit damage. As the son of the engineer Henry Archer, who developed the Warp 5 engine used by the ship, Archer is meant for the captain's chair. His captain's maneuver is Delphic Salver, which increases the amount of resources you get from destroying Xindi hostiles by 1%.
I want to look at these percentages here real quick. And by the way, I have asked the question. This says Xindi hostiles. Does that include the normal Xindi? Does it include Xindi aquatic? And we have been told that it will include both species of Xindi. So Bubba Joe, using Jonathan Archer by himself, you're getting a 300% loot bonus, even with the scrap. Okay? Even with the scrap, even with the original. Okay? So, is Jonathan Archer, and by the way, we could look at Trip Tucker here in just a second. Retrieving says, how does Janeway give synergy? She doesn't. She doesn't give synergy. What does she do, Bubba Joe?
Adds isolytic damage.
Adds isolytic damage. But wait a second. What is isolytic?
A percentage of your damage.
a percentage of your damage, which is multiplied by 16 million% by using the NX-01.
Why would you use an officer that's just strictly better than Janeway?
You're thinking of Data.
Yes.
Possibly. I'm good with Data too. Okay. Janeway, Data. That's right. Could you use? Yes. 800 quadrillion%, says Sooner Grad. 5 million. All right. Whatever. This is an isolytic. How much hull are going to be on these Xindi aquatics? Bubba Joe, it's such a huge freaking hostile.
Well, the Xindi can have shields.
Xindi could have shields. They could have billions and gazillions and bajillion millions. Okay? We're talking massive, massive amounts. And by using isolytic combined with this multiplier, it's going to be massive. All right, let's continue.
Their officer ability is Faith of the Heart. When you take damage from a hostile or another player, Archer increases your critical hit damage by 1% for 2 rounds.
All right, officer ability, fine, Bubba Joe. I'm not, writing home about it, okay? But I like his captain's maneuver. Is he going to be worth getting? I think. The loot bonus probably looks pretty good. All right? When you take damage from a hostile or another player, PvP, Archer increases your critical hit damage by X percentage for 2 rounds, 5% at Tier 1, up to 50% at Tier 5. More crit damage increases, Bubba Joe. Although, probably relatively minor in comparison to the crit reduction that we have gotten from several other officers over the last several months. Right, Bubba Joe, are you excited about his officer ability? Because I'm not sure that I am. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know that I mean, I'd have to take a look at some hostiles to see if this is worth giving up something else like Data or some other piece.
Well, let me be clear. He's totally worth flying in the captain's chair, in my opinion. Okay? I don't disagree. I kind of believe, well, you know what? I'm gonna let Beck fix this. As a matter of fact, listen, we got to take a break. We've got 2 minutes left in the video, so it's actually going to work out to be a perfect 2.5, 3 hour show, Bubba Joe. 25 minutes also left until we hand off to Scribbler, okay? Twitch is going to make me do the break thing again. So we're going to finish this, and I'm going to give you some preliminary suggested crews as well coming up on the other side of this. This is Twitching Trek. Thank you guys so much for being with us tonight for your ARC preview. We've got more to come on the other side of this Twitch commercial break. And I want to thank you guys who are still hanging around. And I won't even give you Chipmunk voice, all right, because I don't want to scare you off from actually subscribing to the channel. All right. Does Trip Tucker have a free-to-play sourcing path? Trip Tucker? Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. Bubba Joe, are you aware of one? I don't think so. Unimatrix.
How would I be aware of one?
No, is there anything for Trip Tucker right now? There's not, right? Not routine. No. Last month it was just the thingy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Puddin'.
There you go, Unimatrix. All right, that's for you.
DJ.
Hey,
DJ,
Putz.
I have a question.
Shoot, Putz.
The ability of the ship, or the fact that it is all hull. I know a lot of our ships start out with really, really tiny hull, and then that's the base. And when you do the multiplier, it doesn't grow exponentially until it gets really, really, several 1,000% of hull increase.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know if the base is going to be a big number, or is each level going to increase the base? Because they said that the officers and the research that increase hull health, most all of those are all based on base. And if she said that it was going to, that was going to increase with it, then it kind of seems to me that the base hull is going to be bigger proportionally than other ships.
Seems like you just answered your own question.
Well, I was postulating going, this is what I think. What do you think?
I concur that
Okay.
proportionately speaking, at least comparatively speaking, hull to shield, this is going to have a significantly larger hull percentage or hull statistic than it would be for shield. Now, is it going to be larger than other ships? I have no idea. Comparatively to other ships, I don't know. What I can tell you is that hull research and hull abilities are going to impact this ship far greater than shield ones. So it's not a fair comparison to put it against other ships, but what we can say is comparatively within this ship, focusing on shields versus hull is going to be far more beneficial to focus on the hull, meaning that hull as compared to shields will be a significantly larger value putts, but there's nothing here to suppose or assume that it's going to be higher compared to other ships. All right? It's just going to be compared to the shield value of this NX-01 for the time being until we know more.
So DJ,
Yeah.
for regular Zindi hostels, if you have Faith of the Heart, that is. So I guess my question is it tracking your negative percentage?
That is a great question, and we do not know the answer to that right now, Bubba. All right. I asked that question, and they did not respond to me. That is a wonderful question because we don't know where this is going to be applied. I personally believe that it will track your negative percentage and just applies a floor. The floor is because what do we know about the floor so far? We know that the floor is the last piece of the formula because hull breach still affects it, right? So hull breach is still the end, which means the floor is next to the end. Right? We have done an exact calculation that shows that even when we're zeroed out, the floor applies and hull breach will give us exactly a 75% floor, 75% boost. So that leads me to believe, Bubba Joe, that it will track negatives until the formula is complete, and then it will apply the floor or your value, whichever is less.
So let me throw something past
Or whichever
you.
is
So let's
more,
say
rather.
you don't have the floor, DJ.
Okay?
Let's say you're a high tier G4 player.
Okay.
Because I don't think low tier have this. And your base critical percentage is, let's just pull out a number and say it's 400%.
Okay.
Okay. So you go against the Zindi hostile.
I know
How many weapons do they fire?
6. And you're exactly right. I know this is where you're going because it will proc per weapon. Okay? So let's take a look at these Zindi hostiles. I'm just going to pull up a level 50 Zindi. Okay? How many weapons on your screen here, guys? 6 weapons with multiple shots each. Okay? Meaning that against a normal Zindi, he's going to increase our critical hit damage by, let's say he's tier 2, Bubba Joe, 10%. Okay. All right? Times 6 weapons, there's 60% for 2 rounds, which means in round 2, it could end up getting to 120%. And if we go into the game and we look at the Zindi hostiles, where they reduce, their ability is to reduce your critical damage by 500%. If you were at 300% or 250% or whatever, there is potentially the chance for Archer to get you above that 500% reduction from the original Zindis.
So it's not, if you have to get to round 2, it's not going to matter. Right.
Sure.
Because at round 2, you have minus 1,000. But if you are close in round 1, let's say your critical percentage is, close to that value, Archer is going to turn your criticals back on, and you're going to have some different crew combinations that you didn't even have the consideration for before.
Agreed.
So
I think it is worth considering, probably for the original Zindi. And you're right, Divine. I forgot, because particle beam delay is going to delay the 6th weapon, so you actually have 5. You're right. Particle beam delay is weapon 6, and it's going to push it out a couple of rounds. You're absolutely right. Okay? So this can be potentially good on the original Zindi. Oh, thankfully, Bubba Joe, also a lore-friendly ability. Okay? Now, I want to continue on because Beck actually has some insight into this.
Damage by a percent for 2 rounds. Just a note here, this ability can stack and it does not trigger at armadas or assaults. Weapons with multiple shots will only trigger this ability once per attack. Players can be strategic in how they choose to crew the NX-01. With Archer taking the captain's chair, we can see the following crews being particularly favorable.
Holy smokes, Bubba Joe. When in the history of the game has Scopely actually come out and offered suggested metas? Literally never. Okay? Never, ever, 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 ever. Which I also think is potentially a good thing here. What they have done here is, Blue says, I do not like this competition. All right? That's right. Beck is actually coming out and offering some of the crews that were actually tested upon by game design, Bubba Joe. Now, whether or not...
Which means that the best crew is clearly not on this list. When was the last time game design actually got something right?
Maybe. I'm just saying, possibly, maybe not possibly. We shall see, okay? Let's talk about some of these crews very quickly, Bubba Joe, okay? Let's talk about these crews very quickly because I haven't read through all these, okay? And I actually do see... I do see one line in here that there might actually be a typo, so we're going to talk about it, okay? But yes, Recursion, if nothing else, it means they're thinking about crews. They're testing crews, and they're coming up with a variety of crews that may indeed work better based on the officer acquisition that you have. Fortunately or unfortunately, every single one of these, Bubba Joe, seem to have Jonathan Archer.
Yes.
Yeah, are they saying that Jonathan Archer is important? Maybe. Okay, maybe. But this is brilliant, all right? I believe, in my personal opinion, that this is not only a good move for Scopely. This is proof positive, Bubba Joe, that they are thinking the way that we want them to think. But also, it's kind of okay in an advertising kind of fashion because they're saying, listen, out of all 5 of our suggested crews, we still think Archer is going to be a really big piece of this. So is he worth you buying? That's up to you. We are going to make him available. We're going to sell him. We're going to do the SMS thing again. We think that it's worth it for you guys to look into it. And here are some suggestions as to what we were thinking when we built this officer. I don't think that that is an unfair thing to do. To be honest with you, this is like, I know this might be the most shilly thing I've said all night, but honestly, I am good with both sides of this coin. They're promoting their product while also telling you how their product can be used. And haven't we complained about that in the past? Haven't we said we would like an idea about what it is that we're buying?
Sure.
Right? We would like to have a little bit of insight into the product you're asking us to spend money on. This is brilliant. And I don't mean the data. I mean the fact that they included the message. Okay? The fact that they included the message. Which I'm going to, again, we've only got a minute and a half left in this video, which means another hour and a half of stream. But I do want to point out, there's a lot of good stuff in here. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Again, I'm going to remind you, just like I did last month, that you need to go and leave your comments in this about the stuff that Beck did differently in this video that we like, all right? Because I like the fact that she's giving us game design in this, all right? So, Bubba Joe, Archer, Trip, Janeway, Enterprise E, Picard, or Data, isolytic boost. We just talked about how isolytic is going to be absolutely massive here, okay?
Yep.
There is no doubt that isolytic isn't going to just crush whatever we've got coming. Isolytic seems like it's going to be big, okay? We could lean in on the crit damage boost from Archer and go Archer, Tucker, pick Bev. Pick Bev. Pick Bev. You have to remind me. Bubba, you love Pick Bev, so tell me why this crew makes sense to you. Archer, Tucker, Pick Bev.
That crew is adding mitigation, I guess.
Is that what Pick Bev does? Because I don't remember Pick Bev. I don't use her for that. I always use her below deck.
Oh, wait. Pick Bev.
Pick Bev. Archer, Tucker, Archer's going to give crit damage. Tucker gives crit damage too,
no
right?
idea what Pick does. Let's see. Happen to have the game up. Pick Bev says increases critical hit damage by 8% every time your ship is hit by an attack while fighting non-armada hostiles. Cumulative. So it's a baby. It's a baby Archer.
All right, so adding extra crit, okay? And we got Tucker also adding extra crit. So just all critical.
That's not what Tucker does.
When take damage from a hostile, decreasing your opponent's decreasing your opponent's critical damage. All right. I got to be honest with you, Bubba, if I'm comparing these top two, Isolytic, critical damage doesn't hold a flame to Isolytic, right? Surely. If I'm just
not an 8% boost.
Yeah. I'd say if we were looking at damage output, all right, crit damage is a far cry from what we can get from Isolytic here, okay? I would be much more inclined to go Isolytic than I would be on crit damage here, okay? By the way, Pick Bev does have broken parts, but that's her below deck ability, below deck. All right, we could lean in on loot boosting. Archer is captain, which obviously makes sense. Tucker below deck and 5 of 11. I probably would not go this route. I believe I would probably do a combination here, Bubba Joe. Archer, Ant Data, and 5 of 11 if I was going to focus on loot boosting. Because I still probably want a little bit of that damage output, right? Want a little bit of that damage output. Tucker, although if we are focused on loot gain, okay? We are focused on loot gain. Let's go back and look at what Archer is going to get synergy-wise. He's either going to get 50 or 100% synergy. Now, Trip Tucker is an engineer, right? Isn't he an engineer? So he would give 100% synergy, which is going to give you a 400% loot boost to Jonathan Archer. To be honest with you, it's probably pretty legit, okay? So, yeah, if you are looking at loot boost, then I think it's absolutely brilliant that you got Archer, Tucker, and 5 of 11 here to just go full-on loot. Okay? Archer, Tucker, Con. I feel like this was probably not high up on my list. Right? Probably not real high up on my list, Bubba.
Because you have Hugh.
Because I got Hugh. But you know what? If I don't have Hugh, what if I don't have Hugh? If I don't have Hugh?
Well, if you don't have Hugh and you're not boosting your critical chance, then Archer is basically just a loot officer.
Exactly. All right. And, of course, you have the opportunity down here not only with Khan, but Gorkon or Lorca to try to get your hull breach. Okay. Can I just point out, these are actual suggestions of crews that also give you an idea of what they have in mind for potential crews. Now, Q says, Q is sending a message to Scopely. Yo, Scopes, since you're watching, I see what you're doing, but please implement these as close to canon as possible. For example, seeing into deep space would be a better ability on Voyager, not the NX-01. I mean, I can see that particular ability, but when we're talking about the actual passive ability of the ship, it probably can't. I mean, they could have made it 100% Q, but at least they got how much of it they got, right? At least they got how much of it that they got, and it's actually right. All right. So I like these suggestions of crew. I think it proves that Scopely at least had a little bit of idea about when they were building some of these abilities, and I like the fact that they're giving players a little bit of suggestion here as to something you can start with or something that you can experiment with. Blue said earlier, I don't like that Scopely's competing with my job. I could kind of say the same thing because the science is ours, but right here are the suggestions and why you would want to go with them. Bubba, if you were going to rank the top two of these crews based on your position in the game, I'm going to go with either loot boost or isolytic boost, depending on the strength of the hostile. Blue says I'm going with the middle. That's the loot boost one. I agree. Again, just depending on how strong these hostiles are going to be. Bubba Joe, Blue has cast his vote. I have cast mine. Where do you fall on this list of suggested crews?
If I could be honest and frank, I don't think any of these crews are ideal.
Really? For a
No.
G6, what would you go with?
Well, G6, I would say this would apply to any person who has been keeping up on their officers because you have Hugh, so you don't have to worry about the con crew. Tucker doesn't do anything. Literally, the only thing Tucker is doing is giving you synergy for Archer.
I agree. Tucker is going to
So,
give, it's loot. It's
what I'm
100%
looking
loot.
at is Archer 5 of 11 and Data.
A combination to get some of that isolytic. Hey, I'm not against you. That's what I said a minute ago.
Yeah,
if I was going to go
but
full
I think
loot,
that there's potentially, I think there's potentially other options, and I think that that's going to make some interesting show topics. But I think this
is
exactly
start.
what it should be.
Yeah,
this is your introductory guide to some ideas to try. And as we've talked about on the show, like again, we haven't done a ton of shows, but as we've talked about on the show repeatedly over the last couple of months, your mileage will be different than DJ's. Your mileage will be different than mine. Your experience is going to be highly regulated by the research and the forbidden technology and the court of Q and all of those things. So here are some basic options that game design has tested, theoretically worked for some people in game design. Try them. Maybe you'll find that Trip isn't helping you a bunch, or maybe you'll find that Pick Beverly isn't helping you a bunch, or maybe you'll find that you need con because your Hue is a low level. Whatever it is, your mileage is going to be different than mine and DJ's and anyone else. So here are some basic crews, and then jump off from here.
Agreed.
And for the people in the chat that are saying, "Oh, they're doing this to sell Archer," of course they're doing this to sell
they
Archer.
are.
But Archer doesn't look awful.
No, he doesn't.
If you're
look
going
bad.
to engage in this loop, Archer looks useful.
Agreed.
Whether I'm going to engage the loop, that remains to be seen.
Agreed. And I'm kind of with you there because, again, I'm just kind of grumpy about what the content represents in general. But speaking from a procedural or even a communications perspective, obviously, guys, I can see Beck's influence here, okay? This level of production and this kind of content, this kind of preview, this kind of information coming directly, clearly, guys, game design, she extracted information from game design to give this stuff to you, which is why I'm going to recommend again that you guys go and leave those comments on the video. Okay, let's finish up here.
Information about Jonathan Archer and what all he brings to the game, make sure to check out this month's official patch notes on our website. The NX-01 has an active ship ability to reveal deep space systems for a period of time as long as the player has visited the system at least once before. Players may find this particularly useful in territory capture to peek into other systems and see which have been left undefended, start deep space armadas without having first to be in the system, or even scout token mining spaces to make sure there's a free spot for your miner. Basically, you can do anything you can in a G3 system as long as you have at least been there before. Here's how it works. Open the galaxy map and select your NX-01 ship. While the ship is selected, you can select a deep space system, which reveals a new button for deep space reveal. After tapping on the button, a player will have to confirm the use of NX isolinear arrays, and then the system will display an icon and timer while the system is revealed. As always, we are excited to be bringing more content to the world of Star Trek Fleet Command, and for this release, our team is trying something particularly new. Players
before we go through this last little bit here on the website, I want to kind of go back and talk about this, which, Bubba, we can spend more time on the show this coming Wednesday. But the ability to see into deep space systems, fog of war systems, all right? Dragon Keeper says, horrible ability. Short says, not excited. Bubba Joe says, terrible ability. On the other hand, I kind of dig it. I kind of like it. Vic says, awesome ability. Chocolate says, I don't like it. Okay? Dragon Keeper says 1K for one system. And I think that's the thing, right? This is not going to be something that you're going to be able to just go and do a gazillion times. It's going to be limited. Bubba Joe, obviously the fact that it can be done is probably frustrating to you, but the fact that it can be done on probably a very limited basis, does this actually make it good for PvP? Because I think this is probably more of an armada or a mining tool, to be perfectly honest with you. How do you...
For PvP?
What? No, I'm saying, like, you don't like it because of its PvP implications. but I see more people using this for PvE applications. Are you concerned about this ability?
Concerned is a strong word. I'm just not like, if you want to make Fog of War visible, then make Fog of War visible. Why are we doing an ability? Why are we doing it as an activated ability?
To sell
And why are we
it!
opening it up to everyone? Like, I don't.
So they can make money. So they're gonna make the money.
I do not think, if you want this ability and you're going to engage in it, I guess more power to you. I don't see that this ability is fun, engaging. I don't think it is. Like, it just, that is the reason the token systems exist. It is a risk to go there if you live in a server that has those systems to be highly saturated. By the way, then kill a miner if you want. Like, I mean, this is, if you're worried about, I've gone to this place and I missed that hostel, like, just be more active. Like, I don't get this. Like, the one thing which should have been when they launched armadas, the one thing is starting an armada. That's the one thing. That should have just been a feature of armadas. If you want to launch an armada in a deep space system, it should be visible to you to launch the armada. That's the only thing about this that is even remotely interesting to me, and that should have just been an ability for armadas.
Well,
No, I got to disagree with you, Bubba, 100%. I'm sorry.
Do it.
I'll tell you what, I have only been in the G4 token space mining systems once each, just to unlock them, just to say I've been there. I have not bought any more tokens. I won't until I get this ability. After I get this ability, I will be exclusively hunting there and a few other places with this ability.
Oh boy!
Every day,
Get ready.
in the middle of the night.
Watch out, Server 45. Putz is coming for you. Here's the thing. I can see it absolutely being valuable for two reasons on token lock systems, as Putz pointed out. One, for the hunters, but two, for seeing what's available in there. Totally get that. Somebody says, well, Disco lets me do that and for cheaper, but not necessarily to a token lock system. Now, some people could have tons and tons of tokens, but I don't, because I don't pay for them and I don't redeem them and, stuff like that. So you could ask other people. I don't disagree, Voltron. I'm just saying this is not necessarily, I think it's just something else to add into our toolbox. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see this as a bad thing. I personally am more likely to use it with armadas. I think is probably, feel like that's probably what I'm going to be more likely to use it with is probably armadas. But I mean, Disco can do, I didn't buy the Disco Prime. There's probably places that this will be able to see that my Disco can't go. So I can see myself using this. I can see this being valuable to me. I didn't buy the Disco Prime. My Disco is very limited. It's basically limited to G4 and down. So if it comes to something in G5, I might end up using the NX01.
So what do you? So give me an example, DJ. What are you going to do?
Start an armada.
Okay.
All right. I mean, right now, warp to a node, a mining node. I mean, right now, if my Disco can't get there, Bubba Joe, I'm still 5, 6, 7 minutes before I can even look at the system. At least this would give me a chance to look. Oh,
and you don't find that warping to a node often results in you not mining at all?
I think that happens less in like super deep space, but it can happen. That's why I say
in super deep space, yes, never happens
but
to
that's
me.
Why
I'm talking about.
But that's why I'm saying
about,
I think armadas are going to be a bigger thing for me. How many times have you guys sent a ship to an armada that you called in for, but then you might have accidentally screwed your team because you got a phone call or you got distracted or you forgot and you didn't join the circle?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That should have just been a thing for armadas, right?
I've done that.
When you launch a deep space armada, it should open up the system so you could send directly to it. You didn't need an ability for that.
Sure, but Scopely's infamous for finding ways to to build in mechanics and or monetize things that might just be
Well, then tie it
conveniences.
to the level of the ACC, right? Tie it to the level of a building that's
That
going on
doesn't
and
generate
make it a
new
passive
money,
ability.
Bubba Joe. Obviously.
One of these days, we're going to stop talking about Scopely as a game company, and we're going to start talking about them as an investment banking company. Because if all they care about is money and not improving the game, that's
Bubba.
what we have.
Where have you been for the last year? I'm just kidding. All right. Wait. Are we actually looking at Scopely with different eyeballs, Bubba Joe? All right. Let's finish. Sorry. Let's finish watching the video.
As always, we are excited to be bringing more content to the world of Star Trek Fleet Command, and for this release, our team is trying something particularly new. Players can head to our website tomorrow during launch and find a special promo code to claim free Enterprise NX-01 blueprints on day 1. If you like having sneak peeks into the content ahead of time, be sure to let our team know. We look forward to bringing more updates like these in the future, so be sure you have your notifications on so you don't miss a thing. We'll catch you on launch day, Commanders. Live long and prosper.
Long live and prosper, everybody. So, again, how many prints? I don't know. They haven't told me. How many prints to unlock the ship? 200. Okay, but I do not know how many parts come tomorrow. I do not know.
You don't know how many prints come tomorrow, DJ?
I do not. Well, I mean, for some people, it'll be all 200 for quick swipe.
I know how many prints people get tomorrow.
Oh, really? Well, then share it. Because I don't. Is that
10?
10. Okay. Is that in the super secret special chat?
It was put on another Discord server that you and I are both on.
Oh, it was put in another super secret special chat. Okay, got it. All right, so 10 blueprints tomorrow. Hey, you know what? That's 10 ones that you don't have to spend credits for, because I have a feeling these blueprints are not going to probably be the cheapest things ever. Now, retrieving, listen, you say SMH, 10 blueprints, but you know what? That's 10 more than they would have done in any other case. All right? Yes, Contrazi, it'll be 200 blueprints to unlock the ship. It will be 10 if you go to the website tomorrow to use the special code. I mean, again, it's not, having the ship unlocked on day 2, but is that what you really expected? At least it'll save you 10 days. And I got to be honest with you, more than the 10 days this time, Bubba Joe, I'm a little bit more concerned about the cost. Because I don't know, maybe some whales out there are done with X-Borg. I really wasn't. So I'm still now kind of playing catch up. I've still got favors to do, and I've got research to do, and now I've got a ship to pay for with it. I'm going to need more export credits.
If there is not a significant change to X-Borg, there is no value to G6 or high-level G5.
Hey, Sigma, baby. I hope it is millions. I'm sure it's not going to be. Bubba, let me ask you, serious talk, real quick. While I still have 4 hours on the clock, at Ops 61 Tier 7, where it unlocks, how much Sigma should be there reasonably? Don't get crazy. Tier 7,
at Tier
Ops
7,
61,
Ops 61.
How much Sigma should be there?
Are we assuming that it goes up with ops and tiering, or just with ops?
Probably we should assume that
tiering?
Let's say that it goes up with both.
Okay. So at Ops 61 Tier 7, I would say that if it freely gave 10,000 of steel and then factored down from that to titanium and dilithium.
Really? Only 10,000? Because I would have probably thought more, but I don't know what I'm asking for up there.
Well, I think that 10,000 at Ops 61 is actually going to complete a building.
Okay. So let's say now it's a G4 Epic, so that means we know it's going to have 12 tiers. Bubba, let's pretend that you are what now? Up 65?
64.
64. So let's say up 64 at tier 9. How much Sigma should this ship provide?
I think we need to start talking about 200 to 250k steel, probably 40 to 50k trite, and then some amount of dilithium.
Okay. Scopely,
Every day.
You're hearing it right now. Yes, and I am looking for daily numbers. Scopely, you're hearing it. If you want, and listen, you know, we do this. We do this month after month after month after month after month. We release something conservative and weak, and then when it doesn't sell, you guys buff it. How about we just get it right on day one this time, huh? How about we just get it right? I just gave you 2 free data points. Op 61 tier 7, Op 64 tier 9, and those are the values. Scale it however you want, but those are 2 data points where it should be. Okay? Those are 2 data points where it should be. Make it work. Make it work. What are the odds that they're going to make it work, Bubba?
Low.
I was just looking around for that snowball. Don't worry about it. All right, guys.
I have better odds of succeeding at the risky chest.
There we go. All right. Woo, that's funny right there. That's funny. All right, community, I do want to thank very much Beck and the digital content team for putting this out. Thank you so very, very much.
Agreed.
Please.
The video was fantastic.
The video was
very
fantastic.
well done. I think they're getting better. Like you said, the addition of the cruise at the end, absolutely good. I mean, we're getting to where there's actual content, not just reading the patch notes. Not that, Beck was bad at that, but there's actual new content
Insight.
For players to
There's
think about.
Information here.
Yes.
There's education, information, and analytics, and I, for one, think this was the best preview arc that they've ever done. So please go find the video on Star Trek Fleet Command's official YouTube channel. Please leave your comments on it, your comments of support. Is there something else that you're not seeing? That's fine. Leave your game design feedback comments on there as well. But don't forget to praise the actual fact that we're getting the information early. Kind of like what I just said a minute ago.
The video might be the high point of the month.
It could be, okay? The video could be the high point of the month, but I would also like to submit the fact that, as I just mentioned, I do indeed still have 4 hours to try to make sure that the G6 experience on this doesn't end up being a pile of poo-poo. I do also want to remind you guys that I am still going through craziness at work. So, given the fact that we did an amazing show tonight, given the fact that Beck did an amazing video tonight, Bubba Joe, and that our show has been exactly 2.5 hours tonight with all of the information that we've got, literally, let me see if there's anything I didn't tell you. Am I allowed to talk about Shran? Shran. Officer ability, warp speed, below deck ability, crystal mining. Am I allowed to do that?
Shocking.
Am I allowed to talk about this? Let me see if there's anything else in my notes. Oh crap! I just got my wrist slapped. All right, he was not in the notes. My bad. I thought he was in the notes. What? Hold on. Let me look and see what got sent to VIP. Because at this point, I could just read what was leaked from VIP, right? All right, let me see.
I don't think that would have been leaked to you.
Oh, it was. Let me see.
There were no officer abilities.
It just said Shran, but no abilities. Crap. Sorry. Okay, that was super teeny tiny. It's a super teeny tiny one. All right, but I won't do anything else. Let's see what else we got on the list. Honest to God, I think that was everything. Oh, I can tell you that there will be a holodeck expansion. I'm just not allowed to tell you what it does or what it's going to have in it. But there will be a holodeck expansion. That was on the list as well, but just not what it does. Yep, that's all I can tell you tonight. So because we did such an intense show tonight, and because Beck did such a great video, and because literally, Bubba Joe, 95% of what we were going to talk about tomorrow, we have now talked about tonight. And given the fact that I've got no time and I'm trying to properly prioritize and scale my time, there will not be a Talking in Cards tomorrow morning. Instead, I will publish this show tonight. I will export it to YouTube, and I will export the audio to podcast with the prologue that it should be viewed on YouTube. It's not a great listen, but it'll probably be just as good. I didn't record it, Tarpitude, but now on second thought, I'll probably export the audio from Twitch because it was a good, actually ended up being a really good show. Okay?
And I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that Echo just slapped your wrist for spoiling something you weren't supposed to, and thus wouldn't be on the show.
Could be.
Nothing to do with that at all.
Could be. All right. But that being said, there really is very little left to talk about tomorrow, which I can potentially put into chat in the morning. Can I just be honest? I'm not doing a Talking in Cars, and I haven't recorded an Arcfall video yet either. We can just point people to this one. Or maybe Blue Mandalorian or Griffin. Actually, Griffin's out of town. Maybe somebody could take this and make it into an Arcfall video. Because I'm not doing one. We already did it all. Right? Is that fine, Bubba? Or should I actually make one? It's already 11:15, man.
Dude, it's up to you.
I don't want to do it. We just did everything. Beck did a pretty good job. Retrieving says Beck's video is pretty much the Arcfall bit. Again, yes, that's 98% of it. She didn't tell you about one of the officers. She didn't tell you about what's going to be in the holodeck. That's it. Everything else is there. I am so grateful that Beck did DJ's job. That means it's less that I have to do. Okay? Talking in Cars is imperative. Tactical Cream, just can't, man. All the time. Bad Wolf says I could do a podcast on all the things that turn out to be wrong. That will come on Wednesday. All right? That will come on Wednesday. I pretty much just did Arcfall. I tell you what. Here's how I'll do it. Right here. If Beck agrees to come on Talking in Cars with DJs in the morning, then I'll do the show. Otherwise, I ain't doing the show. We've already talked about everything. All right. There we go. Okay. That's going to do it. Let's get on out of here. It is a few minutes after 11 o'clock, which means that your official countdown to Arcfall has officially launched over on Scribbler's channel. That's right, Beck. I know you don't do that show, which is exactly why I know I don't have to do it tomorrow. Yep, I'm good. All right, that's exactly right. So, no, Don, first of all, Don says you'd make her get up at 4 a.m. First of all, Beck, go ahead and tell him. You're actually already, on Arcfall days, you're already up at 4 a.m. All right, so is Echo. Crazy enough. He'll be up too. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, your pre-Arc countdown with some great friends of mine. Morbid John, Iron Chef, Major Sammo, Captain Jesse, and Scribbler. They are online right now with your official countdown to Arcfall going on here tonight. They went live 15 minutes ago. They are on the Scream Together stream. They're on the Stream Together platform, and we're going to go hang out with them for the next 5 hours. until 4 a.m. Eastern Time, in which the Arc will launch. And you will have no video from me, no Arcfall, no content, no talking in Carz, because we did it all tonight. But all of this will be published and available for you tomorrow. I appreciate you one and all. My name is UltimatDJz. Thanking you for hanging out tonight. Thank you to my guest, Bubba Joe, for being here on a very late evening. Thank you, my friend. Love you very much, and we will see you on Wednesday. Have a great sleep, okay?
That's the plan.
That's the plan here, too. Guys, thank you guys so very much. My name is UltimatDJz. This is Twitching Trek, recorded in front of a live studio audience for distribution across video and podcast platforms everywhere. Time to say good hello to Scribbler and the rest of the Star Trek Fleet Command content creator community. My name is UltimatDJz, your friendly neighborhood cat person saying meow for now. Love you a minute. Catch you on the next one. Good night, everybody.